And Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever everyone out there chooses to celebrate. Welcome to our final episode of 2025 of the Plate Exchange. This is Steve with On the Ring Apron, sister subsidiary group of the Mania Club and the Champions of Hope Foundation. It has been a privilege once again for our 6th year in works to be a part of all of this, and we've got bigger things coming up in 2026. We are definitely looking forward to the opportunity. We do have some fun stuff for you here today. We're going to go ahead and get right to it because we are airing this on Christmas Day, and we know you've got other things you could be watching as well as also gifts I'm sure you're opening. But we also do have a very big announcement at the end of the episode, so don't leave us until we get there. It does involve an opportunity for you to be able to assist with Mania Club and our goals, be a part of our end of year award show, as well as also potentially be able to be entered to potentially win some merchandise. But with that, let's go ahead and get into it. Since we have been with you guys last time, we do have 6 new WWE or NXT champions. Only 5 of which, though, we are able to show plates on. So we will go ahead and do the one of champion that we are unable to do so, and that is our new NXT Women's North American Champion, that being Thea Hale. And boy, what a surprise this one was, to say the least, as Thea was not scheduled to win the championship in WWE. The Wikipedia page for this, everything, they even admit that this was not supposed to happen. But due to either some, I'm not sure, some difficulty with Blake. I don't know if maybe she was slightly injured, she was dazed or whatnot. At a time in which she was supposed to retain, she ultimately does not kick out of what was a back-seated senton from Thea Hale and a roll-up pin. And Thea Hale inevitably wins the Women's NXT North American Championship, ending Blake Monroe's reign at 52 days. Now, of course, she doesn't have plates yet. She's only been champion as of 8 days at the time of this recording. So will she get plates? Will she get an opportunity to be able to have plates? That's another story. Most people expect that this one will very quickly shift back to Blake. They are scheduled to have a rematch at New Year's Evil. So we will probably see the Glamour end up getting an opportunity to be able to be champion once again. But for now, congratulations to former Chase U member, as well as everyone's resident hyperactive just absolute joy to have, especially if you're a Mania Club member, because Thea is actually one of our absolute favorites. The $100,000 jersey that a whole bunch of people signed. Thea was one of the last people to try to be a part of all of that, and she got a video with Big Hirsch and with a number of other people before inevitably that jersey ended up going up for auction, and it was won by yours truly. So definitely a fun part of that. But Thea is one of our favorites, and congratulations to her. I don't think it's going to be a long reign personally, but she is the Women's North American Champion, and there's something to be said about that. So with that, we do move on to championships that we can be able to do a plate exchange on. As we said, we do have 5 of them, and we are going to open with the Women's Tag Team Championships, which are now held by Asuka and Kairi Sane, aka the Kabuki Warriors. This is not the first time this team has held the championship. In fact, it is the 3rd time that they've held this championship, dating all the way back to the pandemic era. So it's been a little bit since the 2 of them together have held gold, but they did end the run of Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, who held the championship for just around 100 days before they dropped them on Monday Night Raw in November. So the Women's Tag Championships now have new title holders. So let's go ahead and show off the current plates that are on it. So as we've seen in a previous plate exchange episode, our women's tag team titles are right here, with Charlotte's Flair's plates right there, and of course Alexa's updated plates right here on that side. but these plates are going to come off of our championship belt, and we will put on the new Asuka and Kairi Sane plates, each getting their own respective ones. So we will go ahead and first get these plates off. And we have the plates for them now off of them. One last look at those before we put those back in their respective box here. But the Alexa and Charlotte plates, each respectively, they definitely have said they're still in the hunt to try to win back the tag title. So we're going to see if they are able to successfully do so. But returning those back into their box over here. And then showing off the plates of our new champions, and that is Asuka and Kairi Sane. Again, as we said, it is not the first time that we have seen these two particular ones holding championship gold with us, but there's the Asuka plates, and then here are the Kairi Sane plates. Getting everybody a good look at those, and now we're going to go ahead and get them onto our respective belt. And with that, the exchange is complete. The title belt is set, and we have the new Asuka plates over here on, well, I guess your right, my left, and the Kairi Sane plates over here on the left, reflecting our new women's tag team champions, the Kabuki Warriors. About 25 days or so at the time of this recording, but they will hold the championship. They are scheduled to defend them in a couple of weeks at the first Monday Night Raw of the year on Netflix. So we will see if potentially we have a new champion coming up there at that particular event. Our second set of plate exchange today keeps us within the tag team division, but moves us over to the men's side on the red brand as we do move to the World Tag Team Championships. These have actually been swapped out for quite some time now, as the championship went over to the team of the phenomenal AJ Styles and Dragon Lee back in October. However, it took a little while for Dragon Lee to inevitably get his plates. AJ has had his for a number of years now, but they did in the reign of Judgment Day, who was in their second reign as the World Tag Team Champions at 112 days, and have been holding the championships for over 2 months now, successfully defending them at multiple events, such as Saturday night's main event, and even going over to AAA and putting the championships on the line. So the World Tag Champs, a definite odd pairing, but AJ Styles and Dragon Lee, or Team AJ Lee, as I like to refer them as, presenting themselves as the new World Tag Team Champions. And we do finally have Dragon Lee's plates to go with our phenomenal ones. So we are going to go ahead and get those on our belt now. And so before we begin our plate exchange here, we do want to acknowledge the previous champions, and that was the team of Finn Balor and JD McDonough, aka the Judgment Day. And we do see our Judgment Day plates on the side of our World Tag Team Championships, going to an old name there. But let's go ahead and get these off. We have our Judgment Day plates off. One last look at those to show off to everybody. This will be the second time that we've actually removed these particular plates off of our championships. So we could very well see the Judgment Day back in power once again, especially with the return of Liv Morgan and the push towards her and Roxanne potentially being able to win the championships, and the storyline seemingly focusing on the women's side of the story. However, it does potentially open up the door for some differences. But of course, with every team that is losing championships, that also means we have new champions, and those are AJ Styles with his infamous blue plates that we've seen many a time on many different belts, but also the new Dragon Lee plates, finally getting his particular model in and able to put those on. So with that, we'll go ahead and get these onto our championship belt. In the finishing wrap on this one, our exchange is complete. And we have our new World Tag Team Champions. This is a heavy belt for those who've never held this one. But our plate exchange complete. There is AJ Styles over there on the side. The glare from the lighting a little bit irritating. And then there are the Dragon Lee plates over on this side, marking our new reign as the World Tag Team Champions. At the time of this recording, 64 days as champion, and we will see how long this reign continues. They are scheduled to defend the championships on Raw this upcoming week, so could end pretty soon, or it could roll on for a little while longer. But with that, let's move to our next one. Moving to our third of 5 championships. It was very difficult to decide which championship was going to be our, quote, main event of this particular episode, because the real easy answer is the one that's going to come up next, for the many reasons, especially with the latest push that this individual's been getting. But we are going to go with the NXT championship as our next one. It has been re-won by the ruler of NXT, Oba Femi, after a nearly 7 or 10 week run as champion by Ricky Saints. Oba gets some well-deserved time off, comes back at Deadline and defeats Ricky Saints to win back the NXT championship, marking his second reign as champion. The only reason why this particular one is not going to be our main event for this one is because we have shown the Oba Femi plates before. So we're going to be removing the Ricky Saints plates off that we put on in our last episode. Go back and check that one out if you're interested. But then also at the same time, putting Oba's plates back on. So let's go ahead and hop to that. So as with all of our exchange, the first thing we do is acknowledge the previous champion, and that was Ricky Saints, the Revolution, and his plates donning our NXT championship belt for a total of 69 total days. No jokes intended. And with that, we will get his plates off and then put back on the plates of the ruler. So after his 10-week run as champion, the plates of Ricky Saints come off of our particular plates. It was definitely, the Revolution definitely was fun while it lasted, but also I would argue quite a bit shorter than I think most people expected. A lot of people thinking he might be on his way to the main roster sooner rather than later, but we will see what is in store for Ricky Saints with his very quick run as NXT champion. Of course, he's also been North American champion for a little while, so he's already very quickly established himself as one of the better ones within the company. But, again, as we said earlier, with every champion that goes out means a new champion has to come in, and we will be seeing the return of the Oba Femi plates. Seen him once, going to see him again. Let's get him back on the belt. And that concludes the return of Oba Femi back as NXT champion. And the Oba Femi plates will now once again grace our NXT title belt for the foreseeable future. Over 200 plus days as champion last time. Let's see how long this reign will move on in his second run as NXT champion. He will be defending the championship against both Ricky Saints and Javon Evans here in the coming weeks. We also have seen him go one-on-one with the WWE Undisputed Champion Cody Rhodes on Saturday night's main event a couple of weeks ago. So you can definitely see Oba is getting not just a push, but a historic level push. So we will see if that continues. But let's move on to Exchange 4 of our episode. Exchange 4 is the kind of a bittersweet one, if you will, allow this old man who, for the record, by the way, 2 days ago turned 40. For those of you within Mania Club and on the Ring Apron that wished me a happy birthday, I very much appreciate it. Love all of y'all. We're gonna see if my knees will feel any better. From what I'm told by other people who have already reached this age milestone, probably not. But either way, I'm part of the 40s club now. I guess I'm now officially can be considered an old man. But either way, thank you all so much for the birthday wishes. And of course, a continued happy holidays and everything. Much love to everyone out there. But I say bittersweet because it is actually the Intercontinental Championship that we're going to be talking about. The reason why is because of the final championship run in the historic career of John Cena coming to an end just 19 days after it started, as John Cena, after finally completing the career Grand Slam, winning the Intercontinental Championship, he drops it back to Dominic Mysterio at War Games in San Diego, Dominic's hometown, with a great assist from not just all the members of Judgment Day, but of course the returning Liv Morgan. So we do need to pull John Cena's plates off of our title belt for the final time. Oh gosh, one final time. That one stung. I didn't even rehearse that. And then we'll have an opportunity to be able to put Dominic's plates back on. We've seen them on here before as well, but we will go ahead and hop to that. And so first, we acknowledge the previous champion that was in place. And as we said, it was not just the Grand Slam run of John Cena, but also what will go down in history as his final championship reign. But it was the Hustle, Loyalty, Respect John Cena plates that we came to know and love throughout his reign, final reign as undisputed champion, the Unseen 17, able to win gold in this particular instance to complete his career Grand Slam, but does drop it back to Dominic Mysterio. So the first thing we have to do, one final time, that one was rehearsed, is get John Cena's plates off. And with his plates removed, one final love and shout out to the Unseen 17, that being the GOAT, greatest of all time. Your personal opinion of him be damned. No one can question what he's done in the ring and what a historic career that John Cena finishes up with. We did have an opportunity to be able to be at his final match at Saturday night's main event. So On the Ring Apron was represented at the particularly historic event. His loss and, of course, the tap out heard around the world to Gunther to end the career of John Cena. But inevitably, he does lose the Intercontinental Championship directly before that. And for the final time, we will, salute you, Mr. Cena. Thank you for everything you've done, not just for the WWE Universe, but also more specifically to our family. Our son was raised on you, and he's now 20 years old. He respects and loves everything you do. He models himself after you. So I know you've heard this a million times probably in your lifetime, but that is one young man who every bit of this that you try to instill in people makes a difference. So from the bottom of our heart, from our family, thank you so much, John, for everything you did, and we hope that you enjoy your new role as ambassador. We look forward to seeing you one last time at your Hall of Fame ceremony, sooner hopefully rather than later, as well as also enjoy your move into retirement with your wonderful wife, your family, and everything else. But thank you so much. And with that, we're not going to get too horrifically sappy here, but we did want to give that last shout out to John before he heads off into retirement. But his plates will go back into their box to likely be held until a future time. Maybe we can get them signed previously like we did a couple of years ago in Houston. But we'll have to wait to see if that pans itself out. But in the meantime, we do move on to, of course, the future, the past, the future. I don't really know how this one works because it's going back to the previous champion, and that is Dominic Mysterio, with a little look at his plates there. Both of them look exactly the same, but we'll go ahead and get these on the Intercontinental Championship once again. And that completes the exchange. New, almost like a generational shift here. But Dominic Mysterio's plates going back on our Intercontinental Championship. Once again, a huge shout out to John Cena. And also, what a moment for Dominic, as he does get an opportunity to be the last one ever in the history of John Cena to take gold off of the greatest of all time. So a big moment, no doubt, for him as well. But with that, we will move into our main event segment. And for some of you, it may come as a surprise. And we enter into our main event segment of this plate exchange episode. You can evaluate your favorite WWE wrestlers, superstars, And this isn't just a WWE thing. This is across the board. But everybody creates their own definition as to what they feel is the best, who they feel is the best. But at the end of the day, I am going to personally value those who put in hard work, those who put in the effort, the ones you see that are not just portraying the character of someone who's putting in work, but also someone that you can clearly see it in the ring. We have given shout outs to people like Logan Paul, to Bad Bunny when he was here, the celebrities who have come in and have made it to where people of celebrity status can be able to come in and do this kind of stuff. But then you also look at people like your recent workhorse of the year. We just talked about Dominic Mysterio, Damian Priest being a person on here. But one person who did not make our award show this year, but I think absolutely deserves to be. But hey, I'm just one member of the panel. And it's because of the hard work that this young lady has put in. And that is our main event today, the Women's Intercontinental Championship, held by Maxine Dupri, pulling what a lot of people would say is the shocker of the year in terms of the match results, as she successfully on Monday Night Raw on November 17th ended the run of the man Becky Lynch, becoming just the third Women's Intercontinental Champion. But of all the people that could dethrone Becky, I can namely say that Vegas did not only was she not betting odds, I'm not even sure she was on the ballot. But what a job Maxine has done going from, of course, her original thing with Maximum Male Models coming in. But then we've seen her put in the work. We've seen her be with Alpha Academy, basically as a glorified manager, the occasional match from time to time. She appeared very timid. She appeared very, wet behind the ears, as a rookie would. But she has improved. And you see now the storylines of her going into the Heart Dungeon with Natalya and getting an opportunity to get stronger, to get better. She always believed that she could win the Intercontinental Championship off of Becky Lynch. About a month ago, she did. A little over a month ago, she did, ending the 163-day reign of the man, and now is proudly holding the Intercontinental Championship with a confidence that is definitely not seen in Maxine, but is well earned. So with that, we do have the opportunity to finally honor her. It took a couple of weeks for her to get her plates, but we have them, and now we're going to get them on her belt. And so we begin our exchange, as always, by first honoring the previous champion, and that was, again, the man, Becky Lynch. Her new The Man side plates being used this time around. They used a similar version of it when she won the NXT championship, Women's Championship a couple of years ago. But definitely a fun run with these particular plates. But it is time to move them off, and we will go ahead and get Maxine's on. So first, let's remove Becky's. So we begin by getting the Becky Lynch plates off, giving you a chance to get one last good look at those real quick. Let me get it to where the glare is not in place here, but definitely one of the more fun ones. Again, they made a version of this for her NXT Women's Championship run as well. But no doubt that this will not be the last time that we see the man holding gold here in WWE. But, for as many people that sit here and say, oh, she's, the women's version of John Cena, I know that Charlotte has caught, that same flack as well. The reality is you look at her last couple of title reigns, and each one of them was to build up the next layer of talent. She builds up Lyra Valkyria, and she's done that twice, technically. She did it in NXT, and she also did it on the main roster with this very same Women's Intercontinental Championship. You also saw the beginning of the build for Tiffany Stratton, with Stratton ultimately having her run into a future Hall of Famer. And then we've seen the rivalry continue to bud in the main roster. So Becky, I think, is doing exactly what you would expect of a veteran, not only making the championship look strong, but also making the person who wins it off her look strong as well. But speaking of the new champ, that is Maxine Dupri. And we do see her plates on here as well, using the Alpha Academy version of her logo, or her text logo. So these are some nice ones, and we'll go ahead and get them onto our belt. With that, I can officially put my little screwdriver device up for this episode. But we do complete the last plate exchange, and that is Maxine Dupree becoming the new Women's Intercontinental Champion. And how you kind of falling back onto something I said a moment ago, and that is people honoring hard work. For anyone who saw how Maxine ended up winning the championship, it was due to an assist from AJ Lee coming out to cause a distraction to Becky Lynch. She didn't directly interfere with the match. She just came out to create a mental distraction. However, you see the work that Maxine's done, and yet no one's talking about the fact, oh, she only won the championship because AJ got involved. That was hardly said. The build of AJ coming in was obviously to set up their match at War Games that was coming up, but Maxine has been given her flowers. Maxine has been given her due, and it's rightfully deserved. Fun fact, by the way, and let's see how many of you realize this one. The woman who plays Maxine Dupree actually was not supposed to be the character we know today. She actually was supposed to, the woman who plays the character of Maxine was actually supposed to be another WWE superstar, and not just one, but one who's had a pretty good run over the last couple of years. Does anybody know who that's supposed to be? Throw your answer in the comments below. But that's a fun little fact that the woman that we have known as Maxine was not supposed to be this particular woman that plays the character. It was supposed to be someone else and vice versa, but a late change when they were coming through developmental led to the change of this woman becoming Maxine and the other lady becoming who she became. And, well, history's made. And when you finally realize who the two people are, could you picture the two flipped? But, you know, I'll tell you the answer at a later time, maybe during our last little announcement here. And that actually is a perfect segue because it does move us into our final announcement. First of all, again, thank you so much for everyone who has supported myself, Alyssa, Kia, our boys, our girls. You know, our family has grown this year, and it's such a wonderful feeling to know that you have welcomed us so many times into your home, whether it be for 10 minutes, couple of hours for a watch along, plate exchange. It's just amazing to feel the warmth of people now more than ever as we enter into a time when we should reflect not just on what a year we've had, but also what the future holds in 2026. And speaking of the future, it does bring us into the final announcement, and that is that it is once again time for the Otra'S Awards, our 4th annual. We get the distinct privilege, honor, and joy of being able to be the official hosts of Mania Club's exclusive award show. The voting is already out. I am going to put a link in the description below if you're watching this on any of our social medias. But you do have an opportunity to be able to go in there. Just click on the Google Docs link, and it will lead you into a section where there will be 20 categories that you could be able to vote on and have an opportunity to be able to do so. At the time that this comes out, there's about 2 days left to vote. So you do still have time. It stays open until the end of the 27th, maybe into the early mornings of the 28th. But then I need time to put the presentations together and get fitted for my tux, if you will. But you see the Otra'S Awards set there. The show is going to air live. We don't do that by pre-recording. We do that live, so that way we can have opportunities to be able to provide insight, as well as also let our Otra'S universe and our Mania Clubbers have an opportunity to be able to say their piece and to be able to provide their 2 cents in everything that goes on that is part of Mania Club. Another fantastic year for our group. But that's going to air at 5 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Pacific on December 31st. We want to try to get that in before people start getting ready for New Year's to go watch countdowns or balls drop for the new year. Also, being a college football aficionado, of course, Ohio State and Miami open up the college football playoff with my Tide at Alabama and Indiana playing the next day. So I'm going to want my focus to be there. But either way, December 31st, 5 o'clock, go vote. Again, link is in the description below. Link is in the first set of comments. So you've got time. Go ahead and go do that. But with that, that does bring us to the end of our final plate exchange of the year. Everything that you guys do for us is phenomenal. Everything you do, the love you provide us is just absolutely insane and amazing. And we want every opportunity to be able to say thank you to everyone who is a part of this, everyone who gives us a chance to come into your home, gives us a chance to be able to, just do what we love doing. We love being a part of this, and we don't get paid a ton of money for this. We make a little bit of side coin here and there for our videos, or for sponsorships, or monetizations off of videos, but it's not much. We do this because we love doing it, and I love doing things like this, having an opportunity to be one of the first ones to get a hold of people's side plates and getting a chance to show them off. It's such a wonderful, enjoyable moment for me, and even if it's just for a couple of minutes, it gives me a little bit of time to kind of reset in my world as well, because we know everyone's going through rough times. Everyone goes through difficulties as the year goes along, and it's important to remember, and I've even had to be reminded of it a couple of times this year, is that there are good people that are around you. I have an amazing support system here at my home. The people that I get to get up and see whenever I go to work every single day keep me going. And not everybody is that blessed. Not everybody is that lucky. And if I could say one thing about 2025, is that the people who matter to me have shown their true colors and have had the opportunity to be able to show me exactly what I mean to them. And it means the world, because I don't have to sit here and wonder where people's loyalties lie. I don't have to sit here and wonder where do people's feelings lie. I know where they're at because they make sure I know it. And people like, Alyssa, the boys, the girls, people like that, it means everything to me, because, I have a wonderful support system out there. Kia has been more busy this year than usual, so you've noticed that she hasn't been on as many episodes. Pour the Tea has kind of come to a halt just because of timing. But with fairness, our business has taken off. Her business, excuse me. And, just her priorities have shifted. So we would definitely, want to give her all the leeway, because you can't give up the paying job in order to do the one that, makes money. So, or you do for free. So, I love the people that I live, work with. I love the people that live with me. I love the folks that, are part of Mania Club, that make me feel like I mean something every day. And it definitely matters. So for anyone that has ever said a positive thing to me in 2025, or even before that, just know it's heard, and just know that it means something to me personally. So that's my TED Talk to end 2025. You guys will see me one more time. I'll be part of the Otra'S Awards that we just mentioned again on the 31st. But with that, I'm going to bring Plate Exchange here to an end. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. I know a couple days late, but at the end of Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever, however you choose to celebrate this end of the year and the end of the season. Do so with love, do so with care and respect in your heart. Everyone that follows us and everyone that pays attention to what we do, your efforts and your gratitude is always appreciated. And just remember what the season's about. And, just continue to smile, continue to keep going, because I promise it's worth it. But with that, this is Steve with On the Ring Apron, Mania Club, Champions of Hope Foundation. Again, join us for the Otra'S Awards on the 31st. Again, one final time, one final shout out for me, link in the description below, so you can go vote. A couple days left. But until then, happy holidays, Merry Christmas. We'll catch you next time.